Vanderhoof staff. Hi, Vanderhoof staff. I just wanted to reach out. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is out and about enjoying the beautiful, beautiful Colorado summer day. It looks amazing outside. And I just wanted to touch base with you and hopefully ease some minds, come together and begin processing. And hopefully that's where we're at. If you're, maybe on the other spectrum and you're just kind of like, I'm chilling, I'm enjoying my summer, I'll watch the video later, totally fine too. But I definitely wanted to reach out and begin sharing some information and hopefully easing some minds as well. So I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time last week. Wednesday was my first official day back. And there's been a lot of information. And with that, a lot of questions. And I know some of you are probably feeling like me, a lot of questions that we need answers to and we don't have. And I think hopefully today I will provide some of those answers for you, and in the next few days even more. But obviously this is new uncharted territory and we're all figuring it out as we go. So just those patience and grace with everybody I think is really important at this time. But again, I hope hopefully today will help with some of those questions. But I did want to say thank you. Last week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I spent some time going through different trainings and meeting with other principals in our TIC area, and just going through some more details that the district released. And so I really wanted to come and share what it will look like here at Vanderhoof, at least part of that piece. We're going to have more, and we're going to develop a lot of it together as well. But there's some questions that I think keep bubbling up, and those are the ones that I want to address today and hopefully ease some minds. So some of those questions that I keep hearing really are, what is it going to look like, right? What is school going to look like? And first and foremost, a lot of you, if you're parents, you know this already. If you have kids in Jeffco, you know this. But parents were given a survey, and they were asked to choose between coming back, if they preferred coming back remote or face-to-face. And so right now we're gathering numbers to see which families are choosing which option. And that will help us determine our next steps for building our schedule and what we need to be doing, right? So we're still gathering those. Parents will have an opportunity to change their minds. And I will remind them, obviously I've been working with parents, the ones that are reaching out, phone calls and emails, and letting them know that they can change their mind. It is not binding at this time, mainly because a lot of details were not released. We're all still trying to figure those details out. So once our plan is finalized at Vanderhoof, they'll have an opportunity to make their choice final. And I'll probably send that date out. It'll be that first week of school. So that first week will be, those decisions need to be finalized, okay? And so we're waiting on those numbers. We've had quite a few people already respond. So far, the majority of our parents in our community are responding with face-to-face. But again, we're still waiting on quite a few. So I will send another message out this weekend, asking that people go ahead and respond and giving them a little bit more information too, which I think will help get those responses. Because I know as parents, even myself, it has been a daunting task to make that decision when we're really not sure what school's going to look like in each building. So again, that's the first part. The next part will be building what it's going to look like for us in the building once we have those numbers. Same thing with staff. Finding out where we are with the number of staff that are going to be face-to-face or remote, what that's going to look like. And the district is going to make those decisions based on that ESS thing that you have to submit with your medical pieces if you are feeling like you have something that would require you to be remote, right? So you'll make those decisions. Please know I respect everyone's decision. It's about what is best for you, yourself, and your family's well-being. So make those decisions where you feel the best in your heart and where you're at right now. Okay. All right. Some of the other questions that are coming up with staff, and I think even with families, are around safety. Obviously, we're dealing with a pandemic. And so we have a lot of questions about if we come back 100%, which we've been told we're doing, right, on the 24th, what are those safety precautions that we're going to have in place? And so some of the things that I know right now, which I know ease my mind, hopefully will help ease yours. We will be implementing a face mask requirement. So all staff and students will wear masks during the day. So especially during those transition times when you're in the hallways, when you're in class and you can't distance yourself 6 feet apart, you will wear a mask. The only time you really won't be wearing a mask will be during lunch. If you can distance yourself 6 feet apart, if you're running around outside at recess or at PE. So, and obviously we're going to put in breaks, right? We're going to have to do breaks for all of us, not just our students, but for all of us. We're going to go outside and let the kids run around a little bit and take a break with the mask off. We're all going to have to figure out how this feels and get used to it. But we will be having a mask piece for everyone. The district will be providing one reusable mask that you can wash for every staff member and all kids. We'll also have some limited amounts of disposable ones in case, a kid ruins one or gets yucky or whatever. So we'll have those. I am working with PTA to get some made as well for us to have a couple extra reusable ones. We can purchase more if we want to personally, but we're trying to design something for us as a staff to have those available. And then I have some other ones that I will bring in from my husband does Hockey Association apparel, and so we have some that I will give to the staff as well. So you'll have a few that you can wash and have available to you. The district is also providing face shields for teachers, and that will be another option you can use. They're saying right now that we'll need to wear a face shield and a mask if we are not 6 feet away from the students. However, if you are, you can just wear the face shield, which I think will be really great when we're instructing, especially for kids so they can see our mouths. I just think there's so much more expression, right? Or when we're teaching vocabulary or phonics, I think it's really important. And I know you guys do too. So being able to see our faces, so know that those are coming as well. I'm working on ordering some plexiglass dividers. So that's another piece that might be part of that classroom safety precaution piece. Let's see what else. What it looks like just right now, what we know for students, they will be called, they will be kept in what we call cohorts. And really that's a class. So they'll be with their class all day. They will not be going, mingling with other classes at all. So they'll stay with their group with you. You'll be like their teacher all day, which is what we've always done. I mean, there's been times where we've kind of rotated or we might do study buddies and stuff. We won't be doing that right now. It'll be primarily one cohort, one class. And so that means you will not only do all academics, including AMPS, as that cohort, you will have lunch and recess with just that cohort. And that's something that will help mitigate the transmission of, anybody getting sick, and for us to also trace any kind of sickness if someone does end up getting sick. So it's a way to kind of keep everybody safe and also keep track of what's going on and which groups we're interacting with. Okay. Inside the classrooms, we're going to be installing some protocols for hand washing and sanitizing and disinfecting. So we'll have obviously provided hand sanitizers for each classroom, like bottles of it. We'll go through with kids how to wash their hands appropriately in the restrooms, and that will be part of our day. So there'll be a lot of hand washing that we'll need to be going over. And then we'll have disinfectant as well, that all the district is providing all of these items. And so we'll be able to disinfect surfaces when needed. So that will all be given to everybody. Another safety precaution, which I think is also really helpful to understand, which a lot of us are going through if you've gone out at all or had to visit like a doctor's office or anywhere like a dentist or something, there will be screening, right? You'll have to be screened. And so staff and students will be screened every day. And so we'll take temperatures, we'll ask questions. The questions are really basic, like, do you have a runny nose? Do you have a cough? Things like that. It's just like a quick question that we'll ask everybody and then take the temperature. If a student has a high temperature of 100, and I think it's 104, 100.4, they will be sent to, they will sent home. So if they have a temperature or they answer yes to any of those questions, and this is a staff member as well, they'll be sent home. Okay, so we'll be going over all the screening protocols later, but that will be in place, and we will also be provided with thermometers for that screening process. Okay, I think the other piece to that is understanding that it's going to look different, right? We're going to probably foreseeably have more absences, and potentially more groups needing to go, possibly staying at home if somebody does get sick, right? That isolation kind of practice. And so that might look different as well in our building. And obviously we'll need to map out that, and the district's going to give us some more guidelines around what it's going to look like when, we might need to do like a quarantine or an isolation time period. But knowing that we're going to lean on the side of caution. And so if someone's not feeling well, we're going to say, we're going to stay home, right? And I think that's going to be part of our normal practice. So in the past, it's been, oh, I got a runny nose, I can go. Not anymore. And so I just want to prepare you for that piece of it, but also give you that peace of mind that there will be protocols for us to follow. All right. I think the other thing that I wanted to kind of address is teaching, right? I know that that's another thing on our minds for some of us. What is that going to look like? How do I begin to start preparing? We talked about in the spring, I said, kind of tap out for a little bit, wait until you get hungry for that need to start planning and getting organized, right? Which we do as educators. We get to that July period and we start going, oh, I probably want to start breaking out my plan book and getting organized, right? And I know some of you are there and others might not be yet. But knowing that as we're starting to think about that, I want you to reflect on what worked really well in the spring, right? When we were doing remote learning, what are those things that you really felt like, wow, this was awesome, it worked really well, or I like this, but I want to tweak it a little bit more. I think those are the things I'd really like for your mind to start kind of going over and thinking about those platforms that you use, be it Google or Seesaw. I know there were a few others. What are those items that you really felt like, I want to dig deeper into this and start thinking about how can I use that this year? I really think that our minds are going to need to be in that realm, that blended learning realm. I think there were so many amazing things that happened in the spring that you all did that were incredible that we're going to want to pull forward to this year, knowing that our schedule is going to be flexible, that there are at times we're going to need to flow into a remote setting and then back into a face-to-face potentially. So that blended learning is such a great place to live in and continue to build our toolbox on. So if it was me and I was beginning to start planning, which I am, but also as a classroom teacher, start planning, right? What are those things I can start doing within that blended learning realm and playing around with a little bit? And we're going to spend some time together doing that too. Okay. Some other questions that have come up just pertaining to us and getting into our classrooms to set them up. I've had a few of you reach out and say, I really want to get into my classroom. When can I get in? I totally understand that. I am a person that has always been this way as a classroom teacher, even as a principal. I want my space set up before I can begin planning. So I get that. And I am working on that right now with Mike really closely. We are still in the midst of putting in new lights. They are coming in slowly. There was a delay in getting the parts, but they are coming in. And so that is being installed now, bits and pieces of it, but that should be done pretty soon. So I will keep you posted on that when we can get in. The other side of this, where I'm kind of tabling us to rush into our classrooms and get them set up, is I'm really waiting on the guidelines from the district to be solidified on what our classrooms need to look like. There are specific guidelines. Some of them I know at this point and have begun working with Mike and the team on, Mike, Jeremy, and Toby. And first and foremost, the one thing that we do know is that we're going to be using desks. There will be no tables in our classrooms that we'll be using, really. It will just be desks for every kid so that we can keep people separated as much as possible. Obviously, I don't know that we'll be able to be 6 feet apart. We're going to try our best to get kids separated. And if they have to wear masks, they have to wear masks, right? But we're going to have desks, and the desks have to be facing forward. So I've asked Mike to go ahead and begin that process of moving tables out, putting desks in, and getting them set up to limit how much you guys have to really do when you come back. But also to table the fact that I don't want you to spend a ton of time putting everything up, making it beautiful and super cute and wonderful, and then say, oh my gosh, we got to take that out and that out. So give me some time, be a little bit patient. We will get in soon, and I will let you know. And especially those of you that are new or anybody that's moving to a different classroom, I will work on getting you in as priority first once those lights are up and running. Okay, so soon, soon, soon. And also know that we're going to have plenty of time when we come back. I always make sure that teachers have plenty of time in their rooms. And I do say that because I know, in the past, I'm sure over the years, I know as a teacher that we were told that and then no, but I will tell you that right now. I will give you plenty of time in your room to set up. I know this year is very unusual, and I want to give you that peace of mind. Okay? All right. Other pieces, calendar, schedules, class lists, all of those pieces are kind of tabled at the moment. And a lot of that is because I want to wait till we're together and until I have a little bit more guidance from the district on specifics. So a lot of it is being weighted on numbers, right, with enrollment and where we are with that, staffing, but also figuring out what it's all going to look like with remote and face-to-face. And saying that is standstill. When we come back, when we're getting closer to coming back, I'll have some conversations. We will do a lot of this as a staff or in teams, especially class lists. All of that I want to be very transparent that we're having together as teams. So as of right now, we are not moving students. We are not adjusting class lists. Those need to wait. If you have parents reaching out to you specifically about that, please have them call me. We're not doing any of that right now, and I will make that clear to our families as well. And I want to take that off your guys' shoulders. So we will get to it. But right now we're going to deal with some of these other pieces. And then when we're all together as a staff, we'll work on it. Okay. All right. Well, let's see a couple other things. When we come together, those 2 weeks that we're together, which is so awesome that we have I have an extra week this year, which is great. I want to reassure you that the time is really going to be chunked out. I've really thought about it in like thirds. So like the first third of it, let's say, will be for you as teachers to be in your rooms, to be working with your teammates, to be planning, setting up your space, just kind of getting your heads around what that's going to look like. Okay. And then another third will be spending time with me going over process and procedures, especially all the safety protocols and things like that. Obviously, we're going to have some different things with fire drills and lockdowns on top of screening and all of that, right? So we'll go through that piece together. And then the other third will be academics. How are we really beginning to plan and get set up for what instruction is going to look like, okay? And I'm going to lean on a lot of key players, which I've already been processing with, and I want to say thank you to. So far, I've been reaching out to Michelle DeJosio, our instructional coach. Her and I will be working closely on that academic piece, along with Lisa Polachek, our new digital teacher librarian. They're going to be key in how we help figure out what instruction is going to look like and how we continue to build on our repertoire of items for technology platforms and tools, as well as looking at the new proficiency scales and just instruction in general, right? And then I'm also leaning a lot on partnering with Rachel Schweitzer, our social worker, and we're in the midst of trying to hire a full-time cell. So Rachel and the cell will be planning a lot of the work around what does it look like to support not only our own mental health, but our families and our students dealing with what has occurred in the spring, this summer, and also what school's going to look like for everybody, right? And how do we continue to build on all the amazing things that we had started last year with restorative practices, with positive behavior system, MTSS, all of those pieces that we know are so essential to building that community that we all love here at school, right? Those relationship pieces. So that team will be essential into what that first couple weeks are going to look like with some of our planning PD and building up our ideas for the school year. Okay. I think the other piece that is on my mind is just that idea of I just needed a breath. Take a deep breath, right? This year's going to look different and it's going to feel a little funky. And I think that's where I'm at. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. And I think in saying that, not only is it going to look funky, it's going to feel funky. Some things aren't going to sit well with us. They're not going to philosophically align with what we believe in. And that's hard. And I want to acknowledge that. Teaching is going to look different. Learning is going to look a little different this year, but we're going to do a good job. And I want to just say, like, I know there were things in the spring that we're going to talk about and reflect on, and that we took really personally and held on to. And I say we, all of us did. Things that we beat ourselves up over, right? Like that we weren't enough. And what I want to reassure you about is that we are enough. You guys are an incredible team of educators. You were so amazing. And the stuff that you came up with in the spring, the stuff that you come up with all the time for our students and for learning is outstanding. And we're going to keep to that. And we're going to be enough. And that's where I want us to be. I want us to have positive presupposition for each other, for ourselves, to give each other grace, right? This is not going to be easy, and we're going to have to be super flexible, but also resilient. And you guys are resilient. What I saw in the spring was an incredible group of people that came together and created an environment for families and for kids that felt safe, felt comforting, and students learned. And I think that's what we need to hold on to, and that's who we are. We are about relationships. We are about people. And I think that's where we need to land, especially at those times when it gets hard. In saying that, I also think it's really important that you reach out to one another, that you process. If you're at home and you're spinning on these things, like if you're like on Facebook and watching the news and you're beginning to spin and you're like, oh my goodness, right? Please reach out. Please reach out to me at any time. You can call me, you can text me, anything. Anytime, weekends, whatever. I really think that that's important. I had said, let's do a sign up genius. And I really think I want to honor your summertime that's left. However, in saying that, you can always call me, and I will attach my cell phone number again to this video and the email, but also process with each other. I will say that has been the biggest relief and calming sense for me, is being able to process with other colleagues, process with some of you, process with our families. And it's really helped me as well. So I think that that's a big piece to all of this. I know that this isn't answering all the questions that are out there. It's a starting point. I believe in not by giving too much. I know this is a lot, but there is a lot more to come. And there are a lot of things that are being worked out that I will share. And I will continue to be very open and honest with you guys and give you as much information as I can. Again, feel free to reach out anytime. And I hope you're all enjoying your summer and you continue to enjoy your summer as much as you can. I know this is a lot right now, but we're in it together and we're going to get through it together. I think the last and final thing I'm going to say, and I know I keep saying that, is I went back and I watched some of our videos from the spring, and it just was so fun, and it brought me so much joy seeing all of you dancing and hanging out with kids, and on some of the like Zoom videos that you guys sent me. It just made me smile and laugh, and it made me just feel so grateful for having all of you and being able to work with all of you. And that reminder that I'm excited. I'm excited to see you guys. I'm excited, like I always am, for a new school year. You know, I see all the school supplies at Target and I get, yeah, I'm so excited. So I'm excited for that. And I miss you guys, and we're going to figure it out. So again, enjoy your summer. Reach out what you need. I will be in touch with more information soon. All right. Take care.